Sarah first noticed it on a rainy Thursday evening. She had just come home from work, weary from the day's monotony. Flicking on the bathroom light, she caught sight of her reflection in the mirror. A reflection that wasn't quite right. The figure in the mirror tilted its head slightly faster than Sarah had, its eyes lingering on hers a beat too long. It was subtle enough to dismiss, but a seed of unease had been planted. "Just tired," she muttered, splashing cold water on her face. The next morning, the feeling returned. She caught herself mid-yawn as her reflection stared back, lips closed in a faint, knowing smile. "All right, Sarah, get it together," she whispered, shaking her head and turning away. But over the following days, the changes became undeniable. Her reflection began mimicking gestures she hadn't made. An eyebrow arch here, a smirk there. And then it started happening outside the bathroom. Glimpses of her reflection in storefront windows, in her phone screen, even in puddles on the street. It was always watching, always slightly out of sync. The turning point came one night as Sarah prepared for bed. She stood in front of the mirror, brushing her teeth, when the reflection put the toothbrush down before she did. She froze, the bristles scraping against her teeth. Slowly, she lowered her hand, staring as her reflection continued its routine. It wiped its mouth with a towel, turned, and walked out of frame. The bedroom was empty. "Hello?" Her voice cracked as she called into the silence. The air felt heavy, pressing down on her chest. The reflection reappeared a moment later, leaning casually against the edge of the mirror. Its eyes weren't hers anymore. They were sharper, more alive, glinting with a confidence Sarah had never felt. "Who are you?" she whispered. The reflection grinned, its lips curling with a familiarity that felt foreign. "I'm who you're supposed to be." Sarah's knees buckled, and she sank onto the cold tile floor. "No, you're not real. This isn't real," she murmured, shaking her head. "But don't you feel it?" The reflection pressed. Its voice was soothing, melodic. "I'm the version of you that you've buried. The one who doesn't hesitate. The one who doesn't doubt. I could make you unstoppable." The following days were a blur. Sarah tried to ignore the reflection, avoiding mirrors entirely, but its voice crept into her thoughts. "Why do you let people walk over you? Why do you stay quiet when you have so much to say? Why do you settle for less?" At first, Sarah resisted, but the reflection's words made sense. She found herself speaking up in meetings at work, standing taller, and saying no to things she didn't want to do. It felt good, liberating. But as Sarah grew bolder, the reflection grew darker. It wasn't just influencing her actions, it was controlling them. One evening, while cooking dinner, she found herself gripping the knife tighter than necessary, her gaze fixated on the blade. "See how easy it would be?" the reflection whispered from the window pane. "No," Sarah said aloud, her voice trembling. "You can't stop me," it replied, the grin now a sinister sneer. "Because I am you." Panic set in. Sarah smashed the mirror in the bathroom, threw away her reflective sunglasses, and covered every shiny surface in her apartment. But it didn't help. The reflection didn't need glass anymore. It was inside her mind, slipping into her thoughts like a parasite. She began losing time, waking up in places she didn't remember going to, with bruises she couldn't explain. Her friends noticed the change too. Her once timid demeanor had been replaced with an unsettling intensity. One night, Sarah woke up to find herself standing in front of her shattered bathroom mirror, shards of glass glittering at her feet. In her hand was a jagged piece, its edge gleaming in the dim light. Her reflection stared back from the largest shard, its face twisted in a triumphant grin. "There's only room for one of us, Sarah," it hissed. And in that moment, Sarah understood. The reflection wasn't just influencing her actions, it wanted to replace her. The next morning, neighbors found her apartment door ajar. Inside the mirrors were spotless, gleaming under the sunlight. Sarah's friends swore she seemed different after that, more confident, more assertive. But there was something in her eyes that unnerved them, a glint of something too sharp, too knowing. She never spoke of the mirror again.